Hey guys, Miss Rennie here. I'm just going to go ahead and walk you guys through how to begin using your digital resource that you've created for the gridding process, that photographic reference, as well as the paper that you prepared to draw all of the image onto. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm working with. So this is the paper that I'm using for my drawing. It's actually a piece of scrapbooking paper. These can be purchased in a little tablet at Walmart if you're interested. It's like a cardstock quality, but it can be used for a lot of different things in art, and it's a little cheaper that way. I went ahead and measured out my increments just like I had you guys do, and because this thing is bigger than a regular 8.5 by 11 paper that you might be using that's more of this size, my grid actually fits on there in 1.5-inch increments. So mine's just a little bit bigger and blown up, but it's the same exact thing. I still have 8 squares across and 8 squares down. I still have the same coordinates that were on that grid that I gave you guys. So it has the 1, 2, 3, 4 and the A, B, C, D. I placed them on here to match because that's going to help me get my bearings if I get a little turned around or need some help. And so now what I want to do is I'm going to show you guys where I left my project. It is, of course, in Autodesk Sketchbook, which might just be called Sketchbook. And I have 2 versions in here that I can reference and use. This is the more charcoaly one. I'm going to zoom on it. You can see there's some soft shading in there that I may want to use down the road. And then I have one that's a little more simple. I'll use that one for a quick second to show you. So the other one I have is this one, and it's in my gallery right where I saved it. This one has a lot of texture in the hair, but the actual shapes themselves are a lot easier to use. So basically what we're going to do now is talk about how do we get this image over to here using our drawing skills. If I told you just to draw this on here, some of you guys might be able to find your way, but most of you would be pretty overwhelmed. So I'm going to walk you through kind of the first steps on the first day. Here's what I'd like you to do. First of all, go to the one that has your image on it. We need to pause right there. It is a couple days later. I've already made this tutorial and I realized that the step I'm about to show you doesn't work completely, so I had to cut that and put this in. I apologize if it doesn't seem professional enough, but this is my camera girl right here, my daughter, and I'm gonna have her show you guys what I'm up to. So Maya, go ahead and aim down here at the iPad, nice and still. Thank you. You gotta be really super still, okay? So guys, before you even get into your project, what you need to be able to do is to lock the 2 layers that you use first. So I tried in the video originally to show you this, but I apparently didn't know what I was doing that well. But basically you have your image layer and you have your grid layer. And those 2 can never become messed up. We don't want to ever touch them really to do anything to them. We want them to stay in place. We're going to end up adding another layer at the top with the plus sign, and we will position it above those 2, and that'll be the one we draw on and kind of make some notes with before drawing on our paper. But anyway, so this one that's highlighted in blue right now is okay to touch, but these down here we don't want to mess with. So the first thing I want to do is just explain to you that if you click on the photo layer first, it will open up all these options. And what I want you to do is to click lock layer. It's a little padlock right here, and that should lock that layer. Okay, go to the grid, make sure it's highlighted in blue, open it, and also select lock layer. That will prevent you from drawing on those layers. As soon as you tap on that layer and try to draw, it'll be like, nope, sorry, you can't do it. So that way, the only one you can draw on is this one, and you won't be able to mess these up. Okay, so this is all going to make sense as you continue to watch the video. I just wanted to make sure you knew how to properly lock and protect those layers. All right, thank you, Maya. Back to our tutorial. Now you may have an extra layer here that's just randomly sitting there. If you want to use that for the next step, you can touch it and hold it and just drag it to the top. We're always going to be using the top layer. It should be a blank layer. If you don't have that one, hit the plus sign and you'll create a new one. Since I have too many, I'm going to grab that, touch it, and push it up to the trash. Alright, so I have a clear layer on top of my two locked layers. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select a pencil tool. And you really could use about any of these that you like, but I'm going to use pencil just because it's already there. You can slide the size of the point of the pencil. I would prefer you to use it a little bit bigger for what we're doing right now. So I would just say move it towards the end. It doesn't matter what exact number. And then click anywhere to get that to go away. Over here in the rainbow circle, so touch that and select any color that really stands out to you. I'm going to use yellow. Okay, and then to collapse that, I'm going to touch the bottom button. So anytime you want to open that and close that, just touch that same spot. All right, so what I have here is a nice bold yellow line. Okay, by the way, anytime you do something you don't want, the fastest way to get rid of it, if it was one thing, is just use the back arrow button, and it removes that thing you just did. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw on our new layer, and I'm going to go ahead and expand this with 2 fingers by pinching. Remember, you can use your finger to draw, or you can use a stylus if you have one. I have a few extras for anyone interested in picking one up. But what I would recommend you start with is the outline of your head. When you run out of room, use your fingers to pinch that, and then move it and zoom in so you can see what you're doing. But where is the outline of your head? And I may be off on some of this, by the way, but I'm just going to hurry up and throw something in there. Okay, need to zoom out and scooch over. Some areas are going to require your own judgment. I really have no idea where the hair is here, so I'm just going to give it my best guess. We don't plan to keep any of our background junk that's behind us, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay, I made it to the end. Now I'm going to zoom out so you can see the full effect. All right, here's where it gets really helpful to have this app. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make the picture of us invisible. And that just means we're going to go to the little eyeball icon on our photo layer, and we're going to touch the eyeball. Now, if I had told you, instead of drawing that picture, that you were required to draw this yellow line today, most of you would be like, oh, that I can do. And that's the whole point of the grid. We can now focus on a simple fragment of the picture and draw it with accuracy. So my advice to you would be to have the line that you're planning to draw highlighted in color, remove the visibility of your picture when you're done, and then maybe as a beginner, maybe even just click the color again and pick a different one, like something that again stands out, maybe red or turquoise, and then come over here and set some destination points. Think of it like a map. So my yellow line enters the grid here, and it exits the grid square here. Now with just that one square in mind, I can simply come over to my drawing and first of all figure out where I'm at on my picture. So that's the line of D, it's just above it. I'm going to have to move this so you can see. So here's D, there's just above it. Okay, D, D, there's the line. And it's just above that on the outer edge of my picture. So I'm going just right here. And then my destination is to go from here to here. So I'm crossing over to this part of the grid. Now that I have my 2 dots drawn, and I'll show you that up close. Remember those 2, here and here. Now that I have those 2 dots drawn, I can go ahead and focus on the character of the line between them, that yellow squiggly section, and I can get this done very accurately. Now, let me do one that's not so great. I'm going to just lightly draw in a swoop, and I'm purposely not going to do it right. Let's say I put something in, and I'm like, it kind of looks like it, but I still don't feel like it's right. My next piece of advice to you would be to take that same square and grid it in half again. Now this won't help you unless you do it on both. So divide it in halves, and now use that additional structure. Maybe I'll switch to a different color so you can see. That additional structure will tell you some new places to check those lines. So this should be up here, and this one's pretty much right. So basically it just swooped out too low. And now I can erase my old line, and I have a perfectly accurate reproduction of that yellow line right there. So guys, that's how we grid. That's the essential basics of gridding. And this is called gridding within a grid, and these are called destination points. So it's kind of like you're creating a map. Once you get the whole path done of your silhouette, you are welcome to maybe pick a new goal for that drawing. But even if you just got the silhouette done for this week, that would be enough. Remember, the silhouette is the outside edge of your person that separates them from the background. All right, guys, so that's it. Email me with questions, send me screenshots, and I'll be happy to help you out.